going to talk about some learnings from the project Push It. So we discussed, Elke and Tom explained a bit what it is yesterday. So it's basically to test and learn by doing high temperature underground thermal energy storage in aquifers, boreholes, and mines. There are two mine sites, one in Bochum, which is the demonstrator, and one in United Downs that both Elke and Tom explained yesterday. And we are looking at 4 different countries. So BGS, we are doing the regulatory work. So we are doing a review of the regulations at the sites and the countries, and we are interviewing regulators and operators to try to understand and learn what is the current landscape and what things are not very well understood or clarified or specified in the different laws and so on. Because this is a nano presentation and because something very interesting has happened in Germany recently, I'm going to focus in Germany because it's one of the, I think, sites from which maybe we can learn some things that will be important in the future concerning thermal energy storage, and maybe there are some learnings or some things that we can get from them. So just as a kind of to put you in a situation, when we started the project in Germany, this was the very basic situation in terms of geothermal energy. So that was around 2023, 2024. So basically, there are 2 main laws, and I'm talking about the subsurface. So we have the Federal Mining Act and the Water Act. Basically, anything that goes from drilling below 100 meters, you enter into the territory of the mining authority. So you have the mining authority controlling everything that happens there. Anything related to groundwater use, groundwater testing, you have the water authority. So that requires permits and so on under control. The water authority and the mining authority are at the state level. There are 2 water authorities. There is the upper water authority at the state level. There is a lower water authority that is usually the most related with the schemes and the permitting, usually as district level, so it's a smaller size. There is an important, as a geologist, that's the Geological Data Act. So we have to deposit the geological data with the Geological Survey of the state. And what I'm specifically want to explain here is something that is quite different with the situation here in the UK. The first thing is geothermal extraction is considered, or geothermal energy is a mineral resource, it's a natural resource, so it needs a permit to extract, to operate. So that's really important. So you need a permit from the mining authority. And the second thing is that a couple of years ago, the situation was not clear for heat storage. And it was basically that if you injected more heat that you extracted and the net balance was positive, a permit was not necessary. So you were not extracting heat. So it was really a gray area. And that led to many discussions and consultations between water authorities and mining authority, because at the end, you are maybe only using the water. So it's just water permit, but you are not extracting the heat. So you don't need a mining permit. So you are not require an exploration permit or an operational permit. That is something that, because it's based in natural mineral resource and mineral extraction in Germany, you have to do in very short cycles. So it's a lot of paperwork, a lot of bureaucracy. So you need to do this operational plan every couple of years, and it's a lot of work. And for operators, it's a real challenge. So when we ask regulators or operators about different challenges for geothermal in Germany, we found these different things like the lack of clarity, as explained, about the heat storage, this uncertainty about the competent authorities, the permits required, is the water authorities, the mining authority, are both, who should we ask first, the excessive bureaucracy leading to longer approval times, and this operational permit. So these were real challenges that delayed projects and made everything really, really complicated. So where is the interesting or update or nice thing? So recently, that was in December 2025, the Geothermal Energy Acceleration Act, that's my translation, and I'm not going to say that in German, entered into force. So that provides new laws and amendments to national acts, laws, to try to accelerate the development of geothermal energy in Germany. So there are key elements. I'm going to focus just in a few of them because they're very relevant, but I think they're really interesting, and try to clarify all these elements that just discussed previously. So the first thing is that underground thermal energy storage is now explicitly included at the same legal event or legal level as geothermal extraction. So, for example, you have this section there. So it's a facility for storing heat at a depth of 400 meters or more shall be considered an underground storage facility. So you will need a mining permit, and it doesn't matter, if you are using water or not, you'll need a mining permit. And there has been updated the depth definition. So now it's clear that the near surface geothermal is above the first 400 meters. You still need to notify the mining authority below 100 meters, but it's clear the definition on deep geothermal energies below 400 meters. So that establishes a clear boundary for the application of the mining law. Another thing that will be a couple of things that will be also very important to accelerate the use of geothermal energy is that geothermal and UTES are now classified as overriding public interest, technology for overriding public interest. So that means that they get priority now. So that applies to local authorities or states or everything. So if there is a project and it's geothermal, you need to give priority and you need to facilitate that the geothermal project goes ahead. There's been a decrease by law of the limits for project permit decision. So for deep geothermal energy, that's now 1 year. But for any project for heat pump installations, that goes to around 3 months. So that's the maximum limit. And I explained before this operational permit that is based in mineral extraction that was for about 2 years. So to facilitate and reduce the paperwork and all this amount of information you need to submit to the mining authority, that's been extended now. So it's in a longer period that goes between 4 and 8 years, depending on the project. So that gives more room to try to reduce this bureaucracy and to change the state. So yeah, basically, this law has tried to target some of these things we've identified. So it's really comprehensive. There is a lot of information there, but just to show that and have my time is done. So thanks very much.